Hello there and welcome to another edition of COVID-19 Update here on your TV. I'm Eric Shaw, your staff producer, and we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to go and learn a little bit more about some flavors of the world. Something you might be saying to yourself, what do you mean? What are we talking about? You want to go grocery shopping, you want to make something new, something you've never tried before. How about Indian food? Well, I'm so pleased to have Chef Farhana Sahibzada. Is that...
Sahibzada.
Say that. Say that 3 times fast. And she's a well-renowned chef and does some amazing cooking classes. And I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Eric. I'm delighted to be here.
So let me first ask you straightforward, how are you and your family doing during this very interesting time that we are here in the world?
It is a very interesting time. Thank you so much for asking. Like I was telling my daughter, all we can do is just take it one day at a time. And I think that's just a great policy. And other than that, we just keep washing our hands, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you have to keep washing your hands if you're cooking with some really, really interesting spicy foods. You don't want to get that on your face too. And we don't want to touch our face either.
Yeah.
So,
especially if you have handled one of these.
Zoom it in. Yeah. My mouth is already watering and my eyes are already watering just at looking at that. So Farhana specializes in Indian food. So talk a little bit about some of your cooking classes before we get kind of into some questions about this.
I started teaching classes actually informally to friends and family many, many years ago. And it was just kind of fun. And I never knew I was going to take it on a little bit more of a professional level. And here I am. It just, I ended up opening up a cafe and a cooking school. And I said, if I'm going to have a cafe, it's going to be a cafe combination of cooking school. And I started teaching classes over there. People seemed to respond very well to it. And then we started taking them to city colleges and, gourmet stores. I've done classes at, you name it, Whole Foods, Williams-Sonoma, at city museums. And I teach currently at a lot of city colleges. That's where I had actually almost 25 years ago, I had started initially at city colleges.
Okay.
It was a great platform and it continues to be an amazing platform.
My next question to segue is right now, people are grocery shopping right now in this very interesting time. They might be getting tired of that, regular boring old chicken and rice, and they might be getting bored of their, spaghetti and meatballs. And especially everyone's on a budget. So grocery shopping can be really tight. And people are looking for new ways to create some really exciting dishes. Let's talk about some key ingredients to some delicious Indian meals.
Surprisingly enough, most of the ingredients that we use in Indian cooking, you'll find they are very similar to a lot of cuisines. And yes, you talked about having a tight budget and, trying to stretch our budgets. Look, I always say this in my classes. This cuisine comes from a land where means are very limited for a majority of the people. Mm-hmm. And those countries are extremely overpopulated, but you have to feed every mouth. So if you're looking at a budget-friendly, cuisine, Indian and Pakistani cuisine is right there. It's probably at the top of the list, So you talk about ingredients like, onions. We talk about onions, green onions, tomatoes, and, ginger and garlic. You see this peeled garlic right over here? And there's some produce companies that I work with that make it easy for you. They have peeled garlic available. So if you find it at your local grocers, this one comes from my friends at Melissa's Produce. It's a great company right here in LA, but they supply all over the world. So, you talk about tomatoes, ginger, garlic, green onions, cilantro. So those basic things are very similar to many cuisines. Talk about Italian, any cuisine we talk about, right? Now we come to specifics, right? Something that really puts that Indian stamp, if you will,
sure,
on that cuisine. So at minimum, I always say in my classes, if you add extra ginger or garlic to an Indian dish, you're not going to go wrong. You're actually on the right track.
You're going right on the spice train, yep.
At minimum, we all have salt in the kitchen, right?
Sure.
And then cayenne pepper, crushed red pepper or ground cayenne pepper. Okay, you will get by bare minimum with quite a few things.
Okay.
Now, having said that, to put that, to make it a stronger Indian flavor. In whole spices, I'd say, have cumin seeds, stick cinnamon, black peppercorns, cloves. Then we have black cardamom if you have it handy. And the beauty is that there is a lot of flexibility that I bring up in my classes a lot because I experience it myself. If I'm out of when it comes to cooking Indian, flexibility in the use of ingredients. It's not like it's carved in stone. Oh my God, I see a list, an Indian recipe, a list of, 10 spices, 5 spices. Oh my God, I don't have 2 of these. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead with it.
Just create what you have, right?
Exactly. Have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. Don't be too hard on yourselves. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now, and then when it comes to ground spices, the bare minimum, your turmeric, cayenne pepper or crushed red pepper, and ground coriander, salt, and you go.
Yeah. And all those spices, you always see those when you go into the restaurants. They always put in the menus how well described everything is in there, how well it's balanced. So a lot of these people are wanting to learn some of this, again, try something new for the family. So I got to know, let's say I go to the ATM, I pull $20 out of my pocket. What's an example that I can go into the grocery store? I want to make this really good, curry, but I only have $20. Is that possible to make a curry under $20 for a whole family?
Again, you'll be surprised to know, yes, you can do a lot with that $20. As I was saying earlier, a cuisine that comes from an economically kind of struggling and challenging kind of environment. And at least in my neck of the woods, I go to the market, let's say I want to make chicken curry, right?
Sure.
Most of the times, I'll be able to make a very decent dish of chicken curry. I need chicken, I need tomatoes, hopefully, ginger, garlic, and hopefully you have a little stock of spices, and that'll give you and it'll actually leave some room for making some basmati rice with it.
Sure.
And then on your way out, pick up a brownie and you have your dessert.
Perfect. My mouth is watering already. I'm like, I just ate lunch. I'm like, all this talk of food is just, oh my gosh. And I love Indian food, but again, some people, this is new to them. This is something they've never maybe tried before, and they might want to try something. So again, I'm going to take that $20 in my pocket. Let's talk about an entry-level dish like a butter chicken. What can you do to make a perfect butter chicken under $20? Is that even possible?
That butter chicken is really quite doable in that. And actually, so, because again, the ingredients that you need, you can cover them pretty much. And I've been successful in doing that. I've taught classes where I've actually done at one time I did a class at Whole Foods.
Okay.
And, and they had tried to limit it to I said, guys, you want everybody to sample, let's limit it to 30 or 40 people. So they went with 40, okay, can we limit it to 40? And my goal was to show them in how I can do it for under $100. And I stayed quite a bit under $100 and feed 40 people, not just 1, 2 or 3 different dishes.
Wow.
And I was shopping at Whole Food. I was, sorry, I'm giving them a plug. They should pay me something for this, right?
Yep.
So if you can make it happen there, and then at home, let's say you're talking about butter chicken. Let's say we're talking vegetarian. Lentils would be an excellent example. You can do lentils, and potato and spinach, which is aloo palak, to go with that, and still leave yourself some change to add basmati rice to it.
Yep.
It's quite doable. $20, on a good day, and depending on,
Chef Farhana, is there anything else that you would like to add just before we wrap up here?
Just a couple of pieces of suggestions that I've picked up along the way, practice myself to make your life a little bit easier in the kitchen. Everything is in prep. When you take a new recipe, I don't care what recipe it is. It could be just chocolate chip cookies.
Sure.
And it's going to seem very tedious. You're making it for the first time. So just sit down, read the recipe, and just get some clarity on it. Kind of envision the steps in your mind, and that will make your life a lot easier. It's not going to seem as difficult. The other thing is, I always have a batch of pureed ginger and garlic.
Oh, okay.
Ready to go in my, put it in a container with a nice tight lid. it will save you so much time, and it has a strong shelf life. You can throw it in your freezer if you're concerned. It'll stay there for, I don't want to put a date on it. I'll let the Food and FDA do that for me. But
Don't tell
but in your freezer, it's gonna at least easy. I'd say a couple of months, and I'd even let it go. To each his own. You make the best judgment assessment. But this lasts for a long, long time. So that is one step saved. Have some. I would even have maybe some onions, and I've done that for my classes. Peeled and ready to go in a Ziploc bag. I throw it in the refrigerator. Saves a huge step.
Sure.
And so stuff like that. And sometimes I advise people in my classes, have there's a base.
Okay. Yep.
Can you see this base?
Yep.
Your base sauce is similar to a lot of dishes that you're going to cook in the kitchen. For example, in Indian cooking. So have a couple of batches of this base sauce. I have my book, Flavorful Shortcuts to Indian Pakistani Cooking. It is on Amazon. I'm very soon ready to embark some online classes.
Okay.
And I'll be sharing information like that. So sign up for my classes, look for my book on Amazon. And I have tips like that included in this book. I talk about the base sauce. I talk about the shortcuts you can take. And, those will be some of the things. And I share this in my classes all the time. Have a base sauce ready, put it in a container like this. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
With a nice lid, and just throw it in the freezer. And, then all you do is you take it out, throw chicken in it if you want to, throw potatoes in it if you want to, and you have, you can divide your work into steps.
Sure.
You don't have to do it all one day, and you can divide this basis quite a bit of an amount. You can use it to make 2 or 3 dishes.
That's perfect. And then you got your whole meal plan for a whole week.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing I say: save one day for cooking, make 2 or 3 dishes. Put in the labor one day, store it nicely, and just have it ready to go in the refrigerator, and enjoy the next 2-3 days.
That's great.
You have time left over, to catch your favorite shows, on TV.
If I'll eat my favorite dish and watch my favorite show. That's perfect, especially in our very interesting time. So, Chef Farhana, thank you so much for all your wealth of information. I hope you learned a little bit of something about some Indian cooking or entry level. You can find any of Chef Farhana's stuff on YouTube. She's got some online cooking classes. I'll get the links for you later and put that on our Facebook media. But hope that you stay safe in this very interesting time and continue cooking some amazing dishes for some amazing people.
Thank you so much, Eric. You do the same. Stay safe. And it's so wonderful chatting with you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.